That's the doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
Hey, welcome to People's Radio United. I am Tim Best Buds, and I'm here with Canadian Glenn. How are you today, Glenn?
Buenos dias, everyone.
How's Canada today, Glenn?
Canada is Canadian. Hey?
That's a first. So yeah, lots of stuff to talk about today. Tons of stuff to talk about today. Hey, did you know that the LAPD has now killed 7 people in less than 15 days?
Going for some sort of record?
I don't know. It seems like it, doesn't it?
Wow, it doesn't sound like they're trying not to. Let's put it that way.
That's true. So yeah, I'm just checking the streams. We're up on Spreaker, I believe, and it looks like we're live on Twitch right now. So hello, people from Spreaker and Twitch. How are you doing? I just put the last week's show up on YouTube earlier today, or last night late or something like that. I don't know when it went up, but sorry about the delay. I've been super busy. So yeah. Anyway, so what's what else has been going on? Oh yeah, just since we're on LAPD murdering 7 people or shooting 7 people in 15 days so far that I know of. Did you hear what's going on at this park out here called Echo Park? What happened over there?
Yes, I have.
Like the last show, it was starting. We were touched on it, but we didn't know what was going to happen at the time. Well, we kind of did, but we were hoping it wouldn't.
It wouldn't turn out exactly like they're making it turn out. Yeah.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, there's people who live in Echo Park in LA, and I think it's like 100 and something people. And that's where they live. They have their tent set up. They have whatever, because the society sucks and it forces people to live on the streets. Well, it rewards the richest of the rich for doing nothing, basically. So you have these people with nothing living in the park where they had built a community where they felt safe. They cleaned it up. They did, it was like their little community. And then you had the city saying they had to leave because they're going to, quote unquote, do renovations at the park that are going to cost $500,000, $500,000. I suspect it's because of the Olympics coming up. So anyway, there were activists there, and the people who lived there, some of those were activists too, and they were like, we're not leaving. And they sent, I think, 200 or 300 police to surround the park in militarized riot gear, attack people, gas people, break arms, shoot at people, just cause mayhem. I mean, one lady walked out her house who was a housed resident there, an apartment or whatever, trying to get out to go somewhere, to the store or whatever, in her own neighborhood, and the cops broke her arm. So yeah, they're brutal. So they spent all these hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s, helicopters flying over. Oh, by the way, one of the helicopters, I don't know if we talked about this last week, was threatening to, was not threatening, but laughing and thinking it would be funny to murder the people by dropping gas and setting it on fire on them. Dumping the tank and setting it on fire to kill the activists. They were talking about this on the radio. So the LAPD's like, it's not our people. We're supposed to believe that. So that leaves pretty much the sheriff. And then the LAPD said, just a theory, maybe it was a news helicopter. But yeah, nobody knows which helicopter is going around talking about, we sure would love to murder all these people on the ground below us. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, what's a news copter going to do? What are they going to drop on them? Like,
That's
give
my
me a
point.
break.
And then somebody, I don't remember who, it might have been Vishal Singh, did put something up saying the only helicopters that do those kind of dumps are the sheriff helicopters.
There you go.
It makes sense.
Then I also saw a picture from when this whole thing was going on of two sheriffs, men, on one of those swan pedal boats out on the lake, yucking it up like they're in middle school. So, well, and I mean, I've seen a fair amount of pictures and video from Echo Park before this because I went and looked for it.
Yeah.
And this is certainly not your prototypical houseless people encampment. Like these people genuinely had like a commune, a little
Yeah.
town.
I mean,
They made arts and crafts and sold them, and they grew vegetables
yeah,
and
they had a community garden built there. It's gonna get
yeah.
ripped down probably now too. Oh, for sure. And pigs don't care. And the government, the local government here, they don't care, man.
I mean,
These are
this is the
terrible
thing.
people.
Well, the media sells it like, without saying that, they're trying to make you think, oh, it's just another group of dirty people with tents somewhere. Well, this isn't what Echo Lake was like at all. And I think that's one of the reasons that they decided they have to end it because, it makes sense and everything is working fine. So we can't have that.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. A lot of places are like that. I mean, there's people that are on drugs everywhere, including inside
Yep.
houses. Probably some of the people listening, or all the people listening, someone lives around you in houses on some serious drugs. Might be
Yep.
prescribed, might not, but it's a lot more than just some weed or mushrooms. So, there's no difference. The drug use is pretty much the same. You have mental illness. Mentally ill people can't do things for themselves sometimes. So in this society in the United States, we kick them out in the streets and be like, figure it out. We're not going to
Yeah.
give you any help. We don't have money for that. We got bombs to drop. We got cops to pay. We have wars to start. We have to fund Saudi Arabia and Israel's atrocities. We have to fund all this stuff around the world. We do not have money for your mental health. Stay on the streets, be homeless, and die there. That's this government.
Well, that's the entire society. That's the way it's been
Yeah.
built, and that's the way it's sold.
Celeb Scolder, hello. He's in the Twitch chat. Let us know how we sound. If we sound fucked up or something, let me know.
Well, wait a minute here. We got to qualify that. You mean fucked up audio wise
Yeah,
or
audio
fucked up
wise,
content wise?
or all of the above.
Yes.
He says, sound great. Thank you. So, yeah, so you got all this going on. Then I start noticing that while the Echo Park thing was happening, it was all over the news and was pretty much all you were seeing. I mean, like you said, they spun it a whole nother way when you seen it on the news.
Yeah.
I believe it was CBS News, if I'm not wrong, said that I believe it was Mitchell Farrell, one of the politicians, made sure that before they shut it down, every person who lived there had an opportunity, had a apartment, had an opportunity to be in an apartment. They used the word apartment, which was shocked me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not factual at all.
Yeah.
They don't give people apartments. They put them in shelters. And these shelters, they say, oh, do you have a dog or cat? Too bad, you can't have it. Get rid of it. Do you have a significant other? You can't live with them in the shelter. All your stuff has to go get put somewhere, and you can't have it in the shelter. And you can't leave after a certain time. And if you're not in by a certain time, you're going to have to deal with some issues. Oh, and while you're in here, there's cops outside the door making sure nobody acts up or leaves.
So what in reality what it is we're trying to make a PR play and we're going to put you in a private halfway house because that's exactly what it is. When you get out of prison, it's the same shit.
Yeah, but these people haven't done anything wrong that they've been convicted of
Exactly.
or even charged with,
Exactly.
except trying to survive with no money and being poor.
Yep.
And oddly enough, that's the reason a whole lot of people are in prison too.
Yeah.
You know, one thing Kevin Cooper said, who's on death row, possibly innocent of the crimes he's accused of, guilty of other crimes, but none of them would get him on death row, right? So he said on death row, you see every kind of person, every race, everything. The only thing you don't see is a rich person. No rich
Yep.
people on death row because they can afford lawyers to keep them off.
Well, they can afford lawyers to never even be in the position that they're convicted.
Exactly. Oh man, so we're that's what's going on here. It's really oh, that's what I was saying. Under the cover of that news story that was going on, I'm driving to work every day, and there's specific encampments I pass pretty much daily or every couple of days, and three or four of them now disappeared like altogether. Like sometime in the night they got swept.
And I
Like there
bet you're
was there
not
was
hearing about that on the news.
yeah, there was an overpass over by Venice and La Cienega that was just packed, crowded with people. I passed through there. It's like one or two tents left. There's one on Santa Monica, I believe, and yeah, there's nobody there anymore. I was trying to find one of the residents who I know stays there, and haven't been able to locate him yet. But that's kind of weird. Everything just I don't think people just one day be like, you know what, let's all get all our tents, all our mobile homes, all our cars, all our stuff, and just move somewhere else. That just seems like the thing to do. It doesn't happen like that, especially if you're under an overpass, because that's a shelter from the weather. When it rains, it gets cold, or the heat, you got some shade.
Yep.
That's why people choose those spots. It's not like you know what I mean.
Yep.
There's reasons behind it. So it's terrible, and I suspect it has something to do with these Olympics, man. It's going to get brutal. When the Olympics come, they want the city to be quote unquote safe and everything. So they're going to brutalize the poor people, flood the streets with cops, and it's going to be a living hell. Corporate crap's going to be everywhere.
Well, I mean, you don't have to go that far back. Like, I mean, I think of Brazil is a very good example of how the Olympics was used as an excuse to basically, try and class evict a whole generations of people of a certain class in the favelas around Rio, and the Olympics was the excuse. So, there's precedent, and the IOC is they own the most famous brand in the world. And I'm still not really sure how the hell the Olympic Games make so much money, but they certainly do, except for whoever's hosting them. But as far as the networks and the IOC goes, they make out just great. But, I think the last Olympics to break even was possibly Salt Lake, but I know 88 in Calgary made money. I think 84 in LA made a little bit of money, but
Yeah, but
ever since then, it's not happening anymore.
yeah, I just think it's a huge mass advertising thing. It's they use it for so many stupid reasons. Like,
Yeah.
behold our city, and all these
Yep.
companies be like, we support this Olympics here and there. Go buy our shit. We support Olympics,
Yep.
buy our shit. And then they'll start having the athletes after they win and retire. Then they can go and be pro and go and do whatever and make money too, right?
And get their Wheaties box.
Yeah, it's just a joke. It's a stupid thing. If they said, "Oh, we have the Olympics so we don't fight wars," then that would make sense. But they don't do that. It's
No.
just it's just another BS reason to have sports on TV, and someone like me doesn't really care about sports either way. So don't destroy my city because you want to have your little sports.
Well, as far as let's have Olympics instead of wars, well, that idea went out the window in 1936 in Berlin.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
so yeah, that kind of sucks. But yeah, it's a very good possibility that this is the start of the disinfecting of Los Angeles to make the IOC happy. I don't know.
Yeah,
Regardless, this is the exact wrong time to be doing this sort of thing.
yeah. I mean, there's a pandemic. I don't know if they noticed.
Yeah.
I had a real quick question about something we was thinking about the other week. You know the Capitol coup, QAnon, whatever, when all the MAGAs attacked the Capitol?
Yeah.
Do you know that their main problem was that their beliefs screwed most of them over? Like a lot of them might not have been caught right now if they just wore a fucking mask.
Well, yeah, that is
So
one of the great
literally,
ironies.
so literally, them not wearing masks took their freedom. These are the people going, my mask is keeping me. If you make me wear a mask, I'm not free. Well, you know what? Now a lot of them aren't free because they weren't wearing a mask. Just think about that, you stupid Nazis.
Well, I find it hard, whether it be in, just bullshit movies that have been made or even half-assed biographies, all these famous bank robbers that are so ingrained in American culture, I don't remember any of them passing out during a robbery from wearing a mask.
They don't show those. That's because of Fauci. Yeah, you conspiracy theorists. I was joking. I was mocking you. Yeah, that's true. I mean, but they stormed a Capitol trying to overthrow a government, and not too many of them thought it'd be a smart idea to hide their identity. In fact, they were. I mean, let's look at the protests here. When stuff started jumping off, my cameras went off. I don't think I filmed for 3 or 4 days of stuff going on. If there wasn't police around, I wasn't really filming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna incriminate people trying to rise up and do whatever they think is the right thing to do, or whatever they think. Because who cares? These police are murdering people. There's nothing they doing worse than that out in them streets. No burning building is worse than a murder. So, all the cameras went off. But these jackasses were trying to overthrow a government. It wasn't just a uprising. You know what I mean? They were trying to overthrow. They were trying to attempt a coup to make Trump
Yep.
be president forever. Their God, their Jesus, second coming, whatever they think Trump is. I don't know. And they didn't hide their faces. And they filmed and live streamed proudly. These aren't the smartest people on earth, man. I know you see the Q and you think these guys have something, but they really don't, man. They're really stupid.
Well, I think there's general consensus based on psychological principles that people who act that openly and think it is so cool doing things like that, they're members of a cult. That's cult mentality. There's no other way to explain it because you abandon all the natural wiring you have in your brain to say,
Yeah.
hey, wait a minute, like how many times do you have to be told that fire is hot? It's kind of something that sticks with you. You don't forget it. You
Yeah.
don't disregard it, So, I mean, this is cult behavior. There's no other way to explain it.
Definitely. Smoker's in the Spreaker chat. So, hello, Smoker. He said, people murder people with police. And that's
Yeah.
true. If he's probably trolling, but it is true. No one should call the police especially on stupid things, because you got crazy, terrified cowards with guns flying up ready to kill somebody to solve the problem. So yeah, that is true though, because I mean, there's these we've seen it a million times on the Karen videos. They call the police for some benign thing that could just isn't even really an issue on a black
Well,
person who and the police come and they're hoping that to quote
it goes
unquote
bad.
serve justice or whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've seen it for, it's a good thing that the pandemic came along because that basically stopped that practice for the most part. But I
Yeah.
mean, picnicking while black, dog walking while black, like,
Well, as soon as the pandemic mellowed out a tiny bit, the Christians go crazy and murders a bunch of people. Then the Muslims be like, hold my beer." So yeah, the wacky religions jumped on the mass murder sprees again as fast as anything.
well, I mean, even up here in, sleepy little friendly Canada, in the nation's capital, Ottawa, something like this just happened this last week. A wellness check to the wrong address. 10 cops let themselves in, weapons drawn, sleeping people. Like, how do you fuck up this badly
Don't
without
they? This was in Canada,
yeah.
so they don't need a warrant or anything like that to go into someone's house.
No, this was a wellness check. That's their excuse.
Oh
So they
wow.
have to get in. So why there's 10 of them with their weapons drawn, I have no idea. So I mean, yeah, it's across the so-called first world that this sort of blatant oppression from the state is happening, and it just doesn't stop. It just continues and accelerates and intensifies.
Yeah.
But, again, what's been done to slow it down? Nothing. It always seems like it's this faster, 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 hit a wall. And then something happens like what we're probably going to talk about next, which is what's happening in Minneapolis. But, it should have never gotten to where this is. This should have been stopped so long ago. But it hasn't been. And I don't think there's anybody that has any realistic viewpoint that thinks even if Derek Chauvin gets life, no parole, it's not going to change much as
Do you
far
even
as the
think
way
that's gonna
police
happen though?
act. No, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
he could get sent to death row and it wouldn't change the way polices.
Well, this morning Scolder had sent me a article about New York that they are trying to get rid of qualified immunity, or they already did, or
Yes, they have.
I'm a little skeptical. And they legalized weed. What's up with New York? Go on, New York. Yeah, recreational weed they legalized, and they are going to get rid of qualified immunity for them pigs. I'm just skeptical. Are they really doing it, or are they just saying they're doing it? You know what I mean? Like, are they gonna
Uh,
really? Is that a law? Like, these cops can't get away with murder anymore and going crazy. We're gonna investigate and charge and convict these
well,
cats that are crooked, or are they just gonna be like, well, we'll say, but you know how they do that with these little things. Like, oh well,
no,
if he does this certain chokehold, he won't get away with it anymore, or something like that.
well, I mean, there are a lot of people that say the reason that the NYPD administration always bends over so far backwards on this stuff is because up until now, they've been on the hook for all the monetary penalties, the tens of millions of dollars. And New York City, the five boroughs, have voted to rescind that immunity. So that means the NYPD, you kill somebody, it's on you. We're not paying for it. You want your union to pay for it? They can go ahead. We're not. We don't have to pay. Does that mean they
That's
will
great.
never pay? But does that mean they will never pay? No, it doesn't. So there's still the possibility that New York City Council, their police commission, whatever, they could make the decision to be responsible for civil liabilities, but it's highly unlikely. Basically, it's just a very, very stern warning. We're not covering for you anymore because we can't afford it. Quit stealing our money for your stupid behavior.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a boardroom push, like figure it out, you guys. You keep acting like this, you're going to be out of fucking cash. And your
I mean,
pensions will be gone. Then what are your members going to say?
it's pretty simple. We've talked about this on a couple of our shows way back, and it's nothing new. But maybe these cops need to get insurance, and if
Like
you,
doctors.
yeah, and then if you do something and it's justified, your premium might go up a little.
Yep.
But eventually, some of these cops won't be able to work because they can't be insured because they're just maniacs.
Yep.
Something like that needs to happen. I don't know what. I'd rather just abolish the motherfuckers, but something needs to happen because
No,
this
it's
is
good news, though.
outlandish.
It's good news. It removes the carte blanche. And I think
I'm
that's a big
jealous,
first
Glenn. I'm not
step.
gonna lie. I'm just jealous. I want that. I want qualified immunity gun in L.A. Do you know how much
Oh,
fun
of
I'll have in these
course.
cops' faces telling them about that on
Oh, I'm
camera,
sure the LA
watching their little
Sheriff's
sad asses?
Department,
Go ahead. What?
I'm, I'm sure the LASD would be out of business in about 3 years.
Yeah.
Then they just have to break down into their social groups openly.
Social groups, or what we like to call gangs.
Yes. Yes. Again, there's another one. If there was no qualified immunity for the LA Sheriff's Department, how long would it be until some civic politician would come out and call them gangs? Yes, they would. Because then nobody could go to court and say, "Well, he called them gangs," and then the public has to pay. It could change a lot in the way things are talked about, because with this qualified immunity, whatever administration, a city, a state is responsible for this force, they can't speak against them, because then that gets used in court, and you might as well just open the coffers. You can't incriminate yourself, but that may change without qualified immunity.
Yeah. It just seems like, don't give assholes a job where you hire the dumbest people on the planet to carry guns and have the right to murder people and get away with it. It's just common sense.
Well, I think the biggest difference is you have to quit hiring people who did this for a minimum of 2 years in either Baghdad or Syria or some other place they shouldn't be, because that's who far too many American urban police are these days.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
part of the imperialist ground force of the United States government at one time.
Yeah, if you watch my videos, you see quite a few times some cops like, did you serve? Serve
Yeah.
what? Serve your country? No, I'm serving the people right now. Oh, yeah, whatever. Like, what does that mean? So I didn't go kill people overseas for
Yep.
someone else's money? And that makes me lesser than you? Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
Yeah, I
That's the
don't
way
get
they
it.
look at it.
Because they're brainwashed. They're brainwashed and
That,
stupid. That's a bad combination.
well, I mean,
I don't.
it's
Oh,
always been a fact. It's always been a fact, and for the longest time, the military would freely admit it. When you enlist, they break you down and they put you back together the way it works for them. They've
yeah.
always said this in the past. So, I mean, this is the result.
Yeah.
This is the result.
Oh my goodness. I thought you were going to talk a little bit longer there.
Oh well, you could have stayed on mute, then I would have. It wouldn't have been a problem. But you came in, so
Oh yeah. Well, see, the thing is, I ride the button. I got to stop doing it. It's a bad habit. I keep my finger like so it's never all the way down. It's just kind of where I just let go a little and I come in and I'm down again. So yeah.
shit.
Hey, let me ask you. But I'm kind of wondering. I'm thinking about doing this. I've asked a few people. So far, I've got some good, just for fun, on our YouTube channel. That I was thinking about doing a couple of videos of the Trump supporters, or just the fascist cop lovers, whatever they support, because cop lovers aren't solely Trump supporters, just most of them. So I have these
I'm a
cats. I
lot.
have lots of videos of these cats, these jackass white dudes, just in my face, threatening me, threatening to murder me, threatening like just the other day, the dude's like, "I'm gonna take that camera and shove it up your ass." I was like, "Do it." So yeah, they're all bad, big, bad, and bold. And then when the cops leave, everything changes. It's this crazy
Yep.
phenomenon. Now they're running, trying to get away from me, crossing streets, pretending like they don't see me, walking fast, getting in their cars, waving, "Hi," all that crap, talking shuts up,
Yep.
and they're just waving, driving off real quick. And just really, I was thinking about doing a little few videos, just show the big, bad, brave, bold racist with the cops. I got this one dude screaming the N word, flipping off a bunch of black people until the cops shoved him out into the crowd, and then he literally was running in terror. I mean, I have so many of these videos. It's ridiculous. I think it'd be fun to put them on blast. Do like 2 or 3 an episode when I have time. What do you think?
As long as there's not a outstanding legal thing.
No, it's in the streets. Videos I shot.
Okay.
Some of them are already up. I just want to like take, edit them down a little bit, make it kind of amusing, put some cool music, and make it really entertaining to watch the racist cowards run after talking all that smack.
Okay. I support this idea.
I just think it'd be fun. Put them on blast. This dude last week, man, if I put that, he hid behind a bush. He starts walking down the street. He just told me he threatened me like so many times, right? I was like, do it in front of the police then. No? Okay, I'll see you when they leave. That's exactly what I said. And I walked down the block because I was trying to get around this. The police wouldn't let me film what I wanted to film. They're 2 blocks away. I couldn't see where I needed to be. And they were talking about murdering somebody. They're like, watch your crossfire. He's reaching in his glove box. And I'm like, because I'm listening to radio. So I'm trying to get over there. I'm not worried about this guy, but I'm on the street that he came from, and the police all leave, and he starts walking down the street. He looks up and sees me. He flips a U-turn walking and goes and crosses the street, starts going some random other way. So I'm following him. I'm like, here's my camera. You going to get me, tough guy? What's up? He goes all the way down the street and hides behind a bush.
And that's it.
I left after him, and I was like, whatever, dude. It's just so funny. Because I always test him. I mean, if you want to be tough. I mean, I see him
Yeah.
all the time online. If I see you in person, I'll do this and that. Problem is when they see me in person, like, oh, crap. He's not what I thought.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But I mean, that's the whole thing, though. I mean, it's just gone into the digital world now. I mean, these are the same goofballs that everybody went to school with. They got real big mouths until there's no teachers around, and then they try and get the hell out of there as soon as they possibly can because, oh shit, I may have to pay for this now.
Yeah.
They're just the same people, man. And now they have a much bigger landscape to play their little tough guy games. So, whatever. But yeah, that's usually the case anyway. I mean, talk is cheap.
Did you see the video out of Portland with that racist with all the flags. They're Proud Boys, I guess, trying to run people down. And
Yeah.
then Andy No went and decided he was going to clip the video to make it look like these poor racists had to pull a gun to survive. Yeah, then this dude
Yep.
pulls a gun out of his thing. There's police right behind him. They didn't shoot him or nothing. They're like, hey, put the gun down. Then he reaches into his back of his pickup to put the gun there. You know, if a
Yep.
black person would have reached in the back of a pickup and had a gun in their hand, they would have been dead
Yeah,
right
they'd
there.
be dead. Oh yeah, on the spot.
Yeah, so these dudes went
On the
around
spot.
starting all kinds of trouble, trying to run people over, attacking people, just doing the protest in the street, and then want to pull a gun when stuff gets too real and their car gets smashed because they're trying to kill people with it. And then the police just checked him, gave him his gun back, and let him go.
Yep.
That's how it works. And I'm gonna be honest, these are the same people that just murdered a cop in the Capitol. But no matter what they do, remember the Bundy Ranch? Those two cats walked over and shot the cops in the head in Vegas while they were eating.
Yep.
Hilarious. But yeah, these are white supremacists. They murder cops on a daily basis. Then they go wear Blue Lives Matter stuff and stand behind the police. The police will stand with their backs to them like they're not a threat and look at us like we're crazy for wanting to fight them. It's insane, man. It makes no sense to me. I mean, I'll curse a cop out and tell him to kill himself, but I'm not gunning him down, am I? The ones that support them are the ones gunning him down. I mean, the last big time cop that got shot all over the news was shot by what? A Christian white supremacist?
Yep. You know, that's another thing.
Oh, no,
too.
he was shot by the
mean,
Muslim. Sorry, same thing.
No, there's one in the Atlanta thing.
Oh, was there a cop that got killed there too?
Oh no, that's right.
Yeah, it was a
in
Muslim
Colorado,
killed the cop.
Yeah.
The Christian just went and he
Colorado,
was too
yeah.
busy trying to kill people of other races. And
Because
that's how we
he-
should describe these people, man. Just call them terrorists. Call them what they are and call them terrorists.
Well, by definition,
Every Christian
they
and every
already
Muslim
are.
isn't a terrorist, but, you know, the ones that are fundamentally believe their books are infallible, the books call for terrorism. The books call for genocide. The books call for slavery and all kinds of other terrible things. I mean, I don't understand how these women in the Republican Party are sitting in congressional seats or senatorial seats or anything else in a position of leadership, because according to their book, they should never be there. And then they're spewing off Bible verses. According to the book you spewing, you should be sitting serving some dude somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your property.
Yeah, but their excuse then is, you know, well, it's God is the actual what our whole deal's based on, so that's who I'm serving. That's their excuse.
But you're going to hate based on the book. You're going to do everything else based on the book, but you ain't going to follow that one thing. I hate it when they do that, man. It's like this
Yeah.
thing with the rapper, Lil Nas X. Who cares? All these people are up in arms. They're going to sell records for him, and I think it's funny and beautiful. Because that's the best way to sell records, man. Some devil stuff. The Christians go crazy, and
Yeah.
they'll sell the record for you. You don't have to spend money on advertising. It's the oldest trick in the book. And I love it because it always works. But the thing about it is they screaming all this stuff like, oh, he's gay. He should burn in hell. Why do the gays always have to go to Satan and this and that and the other thing? And the same people saying this online, I know for a fact some of them have shaved their beards off. I know for a fact some of them got tattoos. I know for a fact a lot of them eat shellfish and pork. But they want to stone the gay people only. It just doesn't make sense. They pick and choose out that book, man. And when you pick and choose enough and it lets you hate every group of people except for this or that, and you have all these crazy things, then you're going to start going in a bad direction. And that bad direction, if it goes far enough, you end up slaughtering a bunch of people somewhere because whatever reason. It's disgusting, man. These religions have to be pulled in. They got to stop giving them tax exempt status. We got to stop saying we need leaders that believe in fairy tales. No, we don't. We don't need leaders that believe in fairy tales. We need leaders that have common sense. governing by a religious book that's 2,000 or 1,000, whatever years old, depending on which book they're going to want to govern by. Get the hell out of here. Oh, I'm sorry, I went on
Well,
that rant.
no, the whole thing is when you want to base your entire society on a belief, then where's the responsibility? There's never been responsibility. That's the number one built in feature of religion. We don't have to prove it.
But it's
It
petty,
just
Glenn.
is.
It's petty.
It
There's
just
children.
is.
There's children in cages. There's people being murdered by our government every day, and you worried about some rapper with some devil shoes. Who cares? It's a marketing scheme, and you're going to sell them for them because you don't like it. Good luck with
Yeah,
that.
but that works both ways because then the actual oppressors, the actual imperialists and the colonialists can keep doing what they're doing because everybody's worried about black guys selling stuff.
Yeah, they ain't. I don't see them screaming at gay white pop artists. It's the black dude. He made a
It's
country song our kids loved, and now he's in the devil's something. Who cares? I like what he said on there. He's like, basically, he said, I made a song about adultery and lean, and y'all let your kids listen to it. That's on y'all.
yep. Again, see there you go. He's prescribing responsibility to us. How dare he? Blasphemy.
Yeah, I don't know. These people always want some entertainer to raise their kids for them. That ain't their job.
Until
Their
they
job is
don't.
to entertain, and not all of them is there to entertain your children. Some of them have small audiences. Not even small. Some of them have large audiences. There's a different demographic than you are. So deal with it.
Yeah, but that's the same thing with sports icons too. Parents want these people to raise their kids until they don't. And
Hey,
that could
Dennis
be
Rodman is the greatest role model of all time. I don't care what nobody says.
but it's that nobody can predict what it's going to be or when it is. But when that point has been triggered, that's it. You can't do that. How dare you say that it's my fault that I tried to pawn educating my children off on somebody famous? It's just impossible to accept responsibility. That's what core 21st century Christianity looks like to me.
Yeah, it's just these people are
Just
nuts, though. They're nuts. They're spewing Bible verses. One of them's like, Kanye West, please help this man from save his soul.
wow.
Because see,
Saint Ye.
Kanye West does the other side of that. He's like the
Oh,
Steve
please
Harvey
hear
thing.
us,
He
Saint
throws
Ye.
churches, and he wants the Christian demographic. He wants to milk those people for their money.
Yeah,
Um,
well, that's a pretty crowded field, that one.
yeah. It's so
I mean
ridiculous, man.
the embalmed white guy crowd is still dominating in the endless donations from those who have nothing better to do, I guess. Can't pray
I don't
24/7, got to give money away at least 1 hour a day.
I don't think they understand that most of the people that, quote unquote Satanists, they don't believe in that stuff. There are some wackadoos that do, and they're just as bad as the religious people. But it's just like it's done to piss people off. Most of them are just atheists. Like
Yeah.
there's this group of, I don't know what they call it. I can't remember right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, it's called like the Satan Church. It's not. I don't think it's the same church as Satan on Twitter, but it's something like that. And all they do is they say, "Oh, we don't want religious monuments in public places," and they fight that. And they'll go and read weird things, and like when they say, "Oh, we're gonna have prayer time or Bible readings," and they'll go read from some devil book or something just to throw, like all religions are equal, right? So if you can do it, we can too. But
Yep.
they don't, so much believe in that. It's like more like proving a point. You know.
Yep.
They don't so much believe in that. It's like more like proving a point. You know. But they don't they don't so much believe in that. It's like more like proving a point. You know. But they don't they don't so much believe in that. It's like more like proving a point. You know. Like, yeah, your mythical being can be put all over, so can this one. That's what it is. But these people, they go crazy, man. This guy's gay and black and did a video about the devil and want to sell some shoes. From what I understood, these shoes are $1,000 and they only made so many hundred of
Yep.
them.
Yep.
So how are your kids exactly gonna be forced to wear them? Do you really think all the kids at your kids' school are gonna have them on? I think there's gonna be very few collector people that have them, and that's that, or super fans that have money. Just like every other limited edition thing artists sell. So yeah, you know, it's like they just pick up on something and go crazy, and it's like, oh, it's gonna bring on the end of the world because an entertainer did something. Their God must be
It's
really weak
just,
if a little 20-something-year-old dude, singer, rapper could bring everything down, right?
but again, this is just another demonstration of the McLuhan principle. It's the medium, not the message. All these useless little daily tidbits that mean absolutely sweet fuck all in the big picture
Yeah.
are circulated on the internet, on your phone, on bullshit TV.
Well, the thing
It's
the thing about it is they start connecting the dots. Like, oh, this guy did that video, so he must be a real Satanist, and then he must be what? Oh, he's with the Democrats. They eat babies. I mean, that's what I'm seeing when I look at these crazy people online, just going off like, oh, they're here to
but
turn
that's
my
just
kids
it
gay.
though.
They're here to do this. They're here to do that.
No, that's just it though. Without the ability of the internet to throw these theories out across the world, they'd never get anywhere.
I don't know
Because
because
imagine,
back in the day they used to do that with like Slayer and all the heavy metal bands.
but that was through press releases and magazines. That was
Yeah,
as good as it got. And then cable news was around.
yeah, and it wasn't every second
So,
in your face all day, spread around. That's true.
exactly. Exactly. But I mean, the medium is the message. And I wish more people would just admit to the fact that what's happening in your culture is because it's making money. That's it. If it wasn't making money, you wouldn't be seeing it because there's no money in it. I mean, I would just wish people had more of that perspective when they see what's being forced on them. Who's making the money here? And then you know what it's about, you know? But that's no fun. I
Yeah,
skip all the steps. So, whatever. But I mean, they can keep coming up with this shit rapid fire because it's the process of the way they throw it at people and try and trigger emotions. It's just that the name and the face and the location changes, but the shit doesn't. It's on loop.
yeah. Oh, why am I typing Sir Mix-a-Lot Posse on Broadway lyrics into the chat? I don't know.
Wow, that must be on Twitch. I'm over on Spreaker.
No, it's on Spreaker. I was responding to Smoker.
Oh, oh, there we go. Okay. But I think when we started this one, we were going to talk a little bit about what's happening in Minneapolis.
Yes.
I'll be honest. I will say that I am not seeking it out to see it. I have tried very hard to limit the amount of video I do see because I just really don't want to see that. But from, the little bit I've looked in on it so far, I see absolutely no way that this guy should not be convicted of murder.
Honestly, I see that a lot. Yet somehow they aren't when they're cops.
But is this not a new level of video evidence that's played in the court and beamed to the world now? Like
I don't know, the
when,
Oscar Grant trial, he was laid down and executed face down. The whole world pretty much
yes,
saw that. And dude got what, Meslinger or whatever his Nazi name was. He got 2 years or something like
yes.
that. Like, come on, man.
But this, the thing that's different about this is the length. And they're going to make sure that there's no shorter version. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
why it's so powerful. That's why I think it could be different this one time, is
I hope you're right.
because it's
Anytime a
so
cop gets
long.
justice, anytime a cop gets justice, I'm happy. But it's so rare, man. And then when it happens, like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, everything changed," until the next murder. Because, like you just said, basically or alluded to, LAPD shot 7 people this week. If Derek Chauvin gets life or whatever, even the worst of case possible, all these other cops are still off. There's murderers all amongst us in these streets with the power to
Yep.
pull us over and kill more of us. I think
Yeah.
they should
And
just say, you know what? If the people shoot a cop, they get qualified immunity automatically as well. And we'll assume they feared for their life. Because if you're not going to do anything to tone them down with murdering people and they have no reason to stop because there's no penalties, we should be able to clap back. Like when we see one of them coming, we should be able to pull, have our gun ready. Like, is this cop going to go crazy and try to kill me? Or, I don't know. It just seems like it has to work both ways. You can't have these mass murderers driving around with all the rights and all the power and you can't do anything to fight back. It's ridiculous. And as
well,
cowardly as
I
they are,
agree.
they probably just start shooting cats more. I don't know. They're terrible, man. They're terrible.
Well,
They're so
again, like,
terrible, we're working on writing a song about how terrible they are.
I mean, like we already discussed, there's a there's a very large percentage of urban police in the United States who are veterans of the U.S. Army, and they also know how to take orders. And I think it's been a very, very long time now since the whole narrative of, well, what division are these cops out of? Who's the captain? Who is the shift commander? What's the record? Because I don't care what anybody says. This kind of shit does not go on non-stop without some sort of support from command. It just doesn't happen unless it's okay upstairs. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, the chief of LAPD is a murderer, too. There's that.
Yeah, you know? But I mean, why does the pressure always fall on the officer who pulled the trigger? Because anybody who's done any sort of research on conflict, I'm not talking about an incident, I'm talking about patterns of violence. It's not all on the people who have to inflict the violence. That's not how it works. These people, the cops are not this random bunch of hooligans. It's not like the movie The Warriors. They're an organized, hierarchical organization. And just like Nuremberg, we got to put all the fucking generals at the end of a rope. Well, it seemed to work there. There's got to be more accountability up the ladder before anything will ever change. And the way they
Yeah.
promote, you might as well start over. So we're back to disbanding,
Yeah, definitely.
you know?
It's a joke, man. It's just a joke. It's a sick joke and people are dying because of it. Almost daily somebody around. I mean,
Yeah.
they say, oh, you burn down a store, you smash a store up, somebody loses their livelihood, their business. Well, you know what? When you trump up some charges and lock people up for things that shouldn't even be crimes, you're destroying their lives too. But nobody's crying about that.
Yeah.
Someone's on drugs. That's a crime. Let's lock them up. We found paraphernalia. Somebody, whatever.
Plus,
Some
are these
woman's a
people
sex
not aware?
worker. Let's lock her up and destroy her life or his life or whatever. I mean, it's come on. A lot of these things are non-crimes. Someone couldn't pay all these parking tickets, so let's put them in jail a little while to get our money. It's so stupid. So many things are non-crimes. And they lock us up for that, and they
Meanwhile,
fine us, and they keep us in the system. It gotta stop.
me,
Sorry, go ahead.
but meanwhile, do any of these chuds think that you can open a business in, mostly most of the protests are happening in city centers. So if you're not a franchisee of a chain like fast food or Staples or some other shit, you think you're going to get any financing from a bank to open this business in that location without having adequate property insurance? These guys aren't paying out of their profits to replace their windows. This is just all such fabricated bullshit about making it sound like innocent people are being injured. Well, that's exactly what the protest is about most of the time. Innocent
Yeah.
people are being injured, but it's by the system. It's not by a
Oh,
brick.
by the way, I think there was a sporting event last night, and a bunch of white people burned some trash cans and stuff. Just wanted to say that because it wasn't major news. I know when there was a trash can burning at a courthouse in Portland, people like some of the right wing journalists were like, "The courthouse is on fire. These people are crazy." So yeah, I didn't hear anything from UCLA about like UCLA's on fire. The whole place is burning down. It said trash cans on fire, and that was a celebration, I believe.
Yeah.
White people
Yeah.
celebrate and burn shit down, and they get slapped on the wrist, and nobody even really talks about it. Like, oh, these terrible people, they're taking away people's livelihoods by smashing up these businesses. None of that. They're like, oh, they were having fun. We got to go clean it up now. But when a cop murders somebody and people have a real grievance and they're out in the street and some stuff gets smashed up, it's a whole nother narrative. They're burning. The cities are burning. I mean, they're still saying that the democratic cities were burnt to the ground. I'm in LA. I don't see it burnt to the ground. I don't know. Maybe there's a part of LA I've never been to that's burnt to the ground right now. But I
It's
was
on a
around when it
set.
was burnt to the ground in '92. We need to do it again, but do it better. We need to do it
Different part of
smarter.
town
We need
there.
to hit the important stuff and burn it for the sake of burning it, not to loot it. And if we loot it too, so what? But I mean, that's not the main goal. The main goal should be shutting it down for good.
Well,
I
this
don't
this
know.
whole process of othering people, this is not a good practice. And
Oh,
yeah, again, I mean, it's about a college that, you know, we can't talk about UCLA like there's hoodlums or anything going on. No, because probably half of the network hierarchy out of Los Angeles, if they didn't ship their kids across country to go to the Ivy League, they're probably either going to UCLA, USC, or Stanford, right?
yeah.
So, or maybe Berkeley. But I mean, they're not going to, and they're probably on the board and they donate. So they're not going to play news that makes them sound like shit, because at the end of the day, the more tuition and students they get in, the richer they get too. So,
Yeah.
you know, priorities, priorities. Meanwhile, if it was UC Santa Cruz, well, then maybe they'd make it sound like shit, but
Yeah. It's just so crazy, man. It's just such a double standard. Just, I mean, like we
yes.
just talked about too. The white dude with the gun in his hand in front of the police, reaching all up in his truck. That was
Yep.
fine. But a cop tell a black dude, "Let me see your ID." Turn around to get it, he gets shot. It's
Yep.
horrifying. It's terrible.
Well,
It's really blatant.
I think we would be stupid to try and make any prediction as far as the Chauvin case goes. At this point, we can only wish. That's it. So, I
Yeah,
don't think we can really say much.
I think what they're going for is, I mean, you think they don't have a jury on there that's going to try to go with the pig no matter what? I hope I'm wrong, but that's what they're hoping for. All they need is one juror to hang the jury, and then they got to go for a second trial. I mean, I think that's their whole. I heard a lawyer talking about that. It made sense to me because I know people have done that in the past. You just want to keep hanging the jury and making it take longer so you don't get a conviction right away, and
Yep. A
taints
draw
the
is,
further jury pools because more people have heard about it, and you're looking for a
yep.
sympathizer, right?
Yeah. A draw is not a loss. That's the way they look at it. And again, where's all the money coming from to defend him?
Yeah, I wonder that myself. I don't know if the police just. I mean, is it coming from our tax dollars? That's what I wonder all the time.
Well, if it's coming from union dues
That's
for the
fine with me then.
Minneapolis police, yeah, but don't forget, where did those dues come from? They were deducted from their wages. Who pays their
Oh yeah,
wages?
true.
So,
Take it
but
from
I
their
mean,
pensions.
that's where it should be coming from is the
Yeah,
pension fund. But
I
who
like to hurt the
knows, right?
pigs.
Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know,
But
but I mean,
yeah,
think about it like this, man. When they murder somebody, taxpayers have to pay. We just said it earlier in the show, but I mean, how disgusting is that? They murder
yeah,
a citizen or civilian, and then civilians have to pay for their crimes.
yep,
It's really insane. And they're really cool with that socialism. Every right wing person who hates socialism is cool with cops getting socialism. We'll pay all your
yep.
legal fees. We'll pay for everything. We'll pay all your stuff when you murder somebody. Don't worry. Just get out there and kill more black and Mexican people. That's all we ask you to do. It's basically what they
That's that.
say.
That's a whole special kind of socialism. That's no questions asked socialism.
Yeah. But I'm saying, where are all these I hate socialism when this has been going on forever?
Yeah, the same place they are when they phone the fire department when their house is on fire.
Yeah, you got these leech pigs murdering people, sucking up your tax dollars for to pay off their settlements. Why don't they pull themselves up by their bootstraps and pay for their own settlements when they murder somebody? Yeah, I just don't hear
Well,
these people who hate everything so much just talking bad like that. Socialism works when it works for them.
yeah, exactly. But the
Oh,
one
speaking of,
other
oh, go
perfect,
ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, the one other perfect example of the hypocrisy with these people is something I saw posted today, where when it's a 17-year-old white male who crosses state lines and kills protesters with a rifle, he's just a kid. He needs to be protected. But when it's a 17-year-old girl who's been flown by a congressman for a weekend of who exactly knows what, well, she's a tramp. She's trying to frame him. That is the best hypocrisy I've heard maybe since the election.
Are you talking about Matt Gaetz?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean Nestor was problematic already. Now we got this. You didn't see? I know we talked about it before the show. You didn't see this Tucker Carlson clip that's been going around, which
No.
is hilarious. I recommend everyone to check that out. Don't watch the whole show because fuck Tucker Carlson, he's a Nazi. But watch the clip of Matt Gaetz. I'll just kind of describe it real quick to anyone who hasn't seen it, then go look. So you got Tucker Carlson has Matt Gaetz come on his show to clear his name, to tell what's going on, and how these people are extorting him, quote unquote, or whatever they're doing. So he comes on, and through the course of saying how he's being framed and they're trying to extort him and everything, he's like, "Hey, Tucker, remember when we went to dinner, me, you, your wife, and that other girl? Well, that's the one. That's the one that they were trying to get to extort me." Tucker Carlson has the same stupid look he always has on his face, right? Looking confused, but it's a little different. And he's basically like, "I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't remember any of this." Then he gets off the show real fast, and then it comes back on, and he's like, "If you watched my show tonight, you might have seen an interview with Matt Gaetz, because he wanted to get his side of the story." He's like, "That was the wackiest, weirdest interview I've ever had in my entire life." He literally said that, because dude just implicated him in a child sex trafficking ring. Because it's not like just some woman comes forward. They were investigating this little mini Epstein in Florida kind of dude, like, an actual child sex trafficker that Matt Gaetz chilled with all the time. And his name keeps coming up. Like Trump and Epstein, Gates and the other, I don't remember the other guy's name, but yeah. And it's been going on it's been going on for months. Bill Barr had to sign off on this investigation.
Yeah. Well,
so, yeah,
they'll eventually find their Pizzagate, but it's going to turn out to be 90% Republicans.
Okay, wait a minute. I can't let this joke go. Are you sure it's Pizzagate and not Pizza Gates? Because maybe Tucker and Matt went to get pizza with that girl.
Well, could be.
Pizza
could
Gates.
Very well be.
I want to make that a hashtag.
I've already seen Pedo Gates.
Oh, never mind then. Darn it, I'm always so late with the hashtags. Dude, do you know how many times in a month I come up with the most amazing hashtag? And I'm like, this is the one. This is like genius. No one's ever thought of this. As I type it in, it's like everybody's already got it like listed all the way up and down.
I like Gatesgate.
Gatesgate. That's hilarity. Yeah, but it's just like these people, man. They got time machines. They go back through time, steal my hashtags before I do them, and then make them all big. It's really crazy.
Must be some sort of Soros thing.
Yeah, it's the only logical explanation is time travel, because no one could have the same idea I had before I had it.
No doubt, man. Trust the plan.
It's mentally impossible. Trust the plan. There goes Smoker. Pizza Gates. Pizza. Oh, man. If you're not in the chats, you should be. Smoker's a hilarious troll, and he trolls hilariously because of that fact. So, yeah, what else is going on, Glenn? How long have we been on here? I can't even find the time. Here we go. We've been an hour and 8 minutes.
Yeah,
nice.
Sounds about right. Well, I don't know how far this is going to go and how long they're going to let this percolate. I mean, obviously Gates is too stupid to not self-incriminate himself on national television. So, I remember a few shows ago now when I said there's going to have to be some sacrificial lambs sooner or later out of the Republicans for shit to really go back to normal. Well, maybe old Matty just volunteered.
Yeah, I don't know if anything's going to come of it.
Super popular big guy on campus anyway, so.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm skeptical that either party deals with this properly.
Well, I mean,
sorry, I had to choke. Cuomo's still in office.
Well, that's why Cuomo signed the bill to legalize recreational marijuana.
I was just about to say that. But that shouldn't change the fact that he's a creepy, rapey jackass and needs to be kicked out of office. But, I mean, the Democrats, let's never forget, they let Ed Buck, a murderer, go free until there was a public outcry because he was a big donor.
Yeah.
So yeah, these political parties it's just like the other guy did that, they're horrible. Our guy did it, we're gonna tell you why it's not the case and why we support him and blah blah blah.
Well, there's a lot more factors in United States politics. I get that. But as far as Canadian politics go, I've been saying it for years. This is probably one of the little phrases I said the most in the 12 seasons of The View Up Here. Parties are the root of all evil. And what people have to understand, especially up here, where in our parliament we have 5 parties, but it doesn't matter if they're government or if they have 3 seats out of 338, like our smallest party does. They're still a party. They're still run the same way. Their goals are the same: protect the party financially with rules and, the way Parliament instead of Congress works. We have rights within here that nobody can fuck with, etc., etc. That's the bottom line because politicians come and go. The party remains. The party is like the church,
Yeah.
and that's what's most important to all of
Yeah,
them.
but the thing
I
is, the
don't,
parties. I don't know about Canada, but here the parties are just a name and a color. They're like
well,
two houses with a name and a color, like a red house that has a jackass logo, and a blue house that has a jackass logo, and a red house that has an elephant logo. And you have a bunch of people that go into these two houses randomly, I think, and some of them are based on ideology, but the ideology switches.
yeah.
Like, you'll have one party be full of fascists and racists that are bold and blatant. And then Nixon comes along, and the other party says, "No, we're going to be that party." And it just switches back. Like, they're both fascist and racist. It's just which one's more blatant. That's the only thing you're dealing with.
No, there's a lot of
But
parallels with that in Canada.
yeah,
There is because up here, our 2 biggest parties, the Conservatives, which is our equivalent of the Republicans, and the Liberals, which are our equivalent of the Democrats. I mean, Canada is a little more than 150 years old. Like I said, we've got 5 parties in the parliament now. Only 2 parties have ever been government: the Conservatives and the Liberals. So just imagine Congress with Republicans, Democrats, a few people from the Green Party, some actual people who sell themselves as socialists, but they're really centrists, and then a bunch of yahoos from, say, the Texas Independent Party. Then that would be equivalent to what Canada has.
yeah, we pretty much got the same thing.
But I mean, you don't have a
Minus the
separate.
powerful. More our middle parties have no power whatsoever. Some can't even get enough ballots.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's because of the states and the way your silly system works. But see, I think all the Texas Congress people should just form their own party if they're all so hell bent on, you know, give us everything we want or we're going to leave. That's exactly what Quebec has done for, 100 years in Canada. And it's worked out pretty well for them. I mean, don't get me wrong, there would be no Canada without Quebec. That's true. I get that. I admit that. They are a huge
We.
part of what Canada is. Oh, oui, monsieur. But, still, politics changes everything. So, I mean, that's the difference. But we have the same thing. We have 2 dominant parties, and at this point, nobody can ever see any point in the future where it's going to be anybody else. The only time the other ones come in handy is now when we have a minority. So you have to cooperate with somebody for everything. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm not okay with any of this crap in the system.
Oh, You guys
I want a
are
new system.
you guys are unique. Let's put it that way.
UniQ. Say the word properly.
Oh, there's got to be a Q part to it somewhere.
Actually, you know what? That was like a Sanford and Son joke that I just stole. But yeah,
Oh, I don't remember that.
yeah. They said if you see somebody say they got lovely technique, and they gave her the sign to read, she goes, "You have a lovely technique." Some stupid thing. It was like an art show or something. But anyway, enough of Sanford and Son for today. Yeah, what else do we have? Anything else? Boom, 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 boom. I'm trying to think what was going on. Oh, dude, did you see the video of Trump crashing that wedding
Yes.
at Mar-a-Lago? That was beautiful. Classic Trump, man. For
Unbelievable.
anybody that hasn't seen it, check it out. Just the clip. I think it is just a clip. Somebody had a wedding at Mar-a-Lago and Trump showed up, probably on some kind of drugs that took him in the upward direction. And he was giving one of his MAGA speeches in there, just going off like nothing about to the bride and groom who I've known forever. And it was just all about him and Biden sucks and China this and did y'all miss me yet? It was truly beautiful.
It was a display of megalomania.
Extreme narcissism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as I started watching it, it was like, this is like every movie you've ever seen where you're at the lounge at the Holiday Inn at the airport.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, oh, God.
we talked about this before the show. We got to stop talking about so much before the show because then I don't realize it hasn't been said on the show already. But yeah, there were some journalists and senators and other people that were allowed to go into the concentration camps that Biden is now running again. And they said there's rooms with the capacity that are supposed to hold like 250 people that have thousands of people crammed into them, families with children. I think we've seen the videos of the kids locked up in their little glass cages, all shoved together. It's why are they still open, and why are we allowing them to be open? Why don't we have people just going over there and tearing them down and pulling people out? I don't understand. There's enough people in this country that we can go just destroy these places, drag the guards out if we have to, tear them down brick by brick and free everybody. Get them to some safe place. These are kids. These are just people trying to, live a better life. Trying to flee from the disasters that their neighbors up north have been inflicting on their countries forever. Economic warfare. Come on, man. It's insane you treat these people and think how bad it must be over there, what they have to flee from if they're willing to come and sit in a concentration camp. That should tell you something right there. And for the majority of the part, this country here that you love so much caused a lot of that drama in a lot of those countries down there. We've been exploited them. We've destroyed them. We've overthrown their governments, everything you can imagine. So yeah, I don't understand why we need concentration camps. I don't understand why we need a homeland security.
Well, did see a little bit of talk about that not too long ago, that, because Patriot Act was only temporary, DHS was only temporary.
Yeah, we said back then when they started the homeland, when Bush started that crap, we was like, this ain't gonna end well.
No.
It's not gonna be temporary. You don't give up, like we've been saying now. You give them an inch, they take a mile, and they never give anything back. and we're the ones paying for it every time. Sick of it, man. These
Power
people are
seeks
cool. These
nothing.
Democrats are cool at concentration camps now because their guy's in charge.
Dunning-Kruger, 2020. They did win.
Where the hell is AOC over there? Why isn't she crying and bringing attention to this all of a sudden? I wonder why. Sell out.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the
She was big on
people.
it during the other administration.
Well, yeah, of course, because
Well,
that was
what changed?
approved from the top. The marching orders changed.
What?
The marching orders changed.
Yeah, so
And you have to remember, too, in a place like the House of Representatives, every time AOC makes a statement, it's money in the bank for her fundraising, for her yet to be released election ads, for all kinds of things like that. But if you don't play ball enough, Pelosi can say, guess what? You don't get to speak. Sit down. Fall
and you
in
go right
line.
onto the media, right?
Well, then you're going to get primaried. So again, I mean, it's the system. It's the fucking system is what the problem
Yeah, I
is.
don't know. I mean, they make 100,000 something a year, right? So that might be a influence too. Like, oh, I don't want to not make 100 and something thousand a year plus whatever else I'm scheming off the top, skimming off the top, grifting off the top, whatever they call it in their line of work. I'm sorry, man. I just can't. I know these people look at her like the savior of the earth, but she's full of crap from day one. She's all talk. It's easy to say good stuff while you not really backing it. Why isn't I mean,
But
I
see,
think it would
that's
be
just it,
inspiring
though.
if you shut down something. I mean, they got the wackadoos on the Republican side, the QAnons doing all kinds of crazy stuff, trying to bring guns in, starting stuff, putting up posters, offending people that work with them.
But those are the people that got them there. That's why they're playing that angle. Because it doesn't matter what the national media says about it. If they do polling in their district and they get a bump from it, they don't care.
Well, allegedly, the people that put her there were leftist, quote unquote, socialists in her district in New York, because that's what she claimed to be at the time. So, I mean, if that's her base and that's who voted for her originally, why would she think leaning more fascist, leaning more right than toward what these people that got her elected would do? I mean, if I voted for her, if I ever believed her crap and voted for her if she was in my district or whatever, and I voted, I would expect her to stay radical as hell. I expect her to fight the system even if she lost her job, and then she's still just an activist, right?
Okay,
But
but
you're right. These people are in here for money. They're in there for get their name, their clicks, their positions. A lot of people ain't in here for the right reasons too. So I got to remember that. Sorry, go ahead.
um, Ocasio-Cortez, her district is it in Brooklyn?
Brooklyn or
I think
Bronx
it
or
is.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Brooklyn or the Bronx. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go with that. And I'm thinking, okay, so what if you're politically active in your community, in her district, and say there's something like a community center or new public basketball courts that have been promised for fucking 20 years. And then she gets in, and within a year, that shit happens because it's federal money. So what's the payoff, right? How much slack do you give her? Because as far as you're concerned, on the ground, That's results. That's good for the district. So then are people, so say there's somebody hardcore that says, what the fuck is with AOC going along with the funding bill for ICE? And then how many people are going to be behind you that say, hey, motherfucker, we just got that community center. Nobody did shit for us for 20 years. Things change. And people can be influenced and kept on board with all kinds of different levers.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But that's the game, right?
Don't have to
That's
like the
system.
game.
No, but I mean,
I can hate the
that's
players
issue.
and the game if I want.
That's the issue. I mean,
Yeah,
and
I know.
plus it does. I mean, in America, I think Americans as a whole are more aware of when they think an opportunity for their 15 minutes shows up than people a lot of other places are. And I think there's definitely something to it that if you travel, if you go places, you get into a conversation, who's your congressman? AOC. That carries weight for a lot of people. It's stupid, it's vain, it doesn't really mean much, but it's one of those things. It's one of those things you use to up on people.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of reasons. And the other thing is, too, yeah, nothing's fucking changed, but at least she gets to say it. At least the Democratic Party will put her out there to respond for them. And if Hillary was president, you wouldn't be seeing that. I don't think so. I don't think you'd be seeing that because that's too fast. Slow down.
Yeah, I don't know. I want people to be 1,000%, especially if you're in a position where you have some say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that's the game you always got to play. If she demands on her say too much, all of a sudden her say disappears. She's not on committees. She
Or
doesn't
she
get
inspires
rebuttals.
others to speak up too. Isn't there like some whole quote unquote squad? Where the hell are they?
They're all walking the same line. You guys can brand yourselves as rebels, but you belong to this caucus and you're going to fucking follow the rules. That's the reality.
There's only one of them I haven't seen sell out so far, and I'm just saying I haven't seen it. I'm not saying she hasn't.
Presley?
No, I can't think
Tlaib?
of her name. What?
Tlaib?
Yeah, I think that's her.
Yeah.
Is she the
she's
Muslim
pretty.
one?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. I haven't seen her sell out, but who knows?
But she's not getting the exposure either because she wears hijab. And they're just not ready to go that far.
Because I see these racists attacking her all the time, but there's never anything about her. I've seen where she wishy-washy or backpedals on what she says, but still, I mean, I don't see her standing up either. She's probably just the most genuine of all of them. Yeah, I mean,
And she
here's the
is from
thing. There's some
Minnesota.
people, it's like the
She's
cop thing, right? Some cops, maybe some people say, I'm going to go do some good and be a cop and save some people and help some people. Then they get in and get corrupted. I think maybe politics are like that. I worry about people that I see on the streets out here, and then they start saying, oh, I'm running for this or I'm running for that. And I'm like, ooh. All of a sudden I back up like I don't know about this person anymore. That's probably something with me, but I mean, that should show you if I feel like that, other people do too, I'm sure, because we have a serious distrust of politicians. And we've seen a lot. I've been around a long time to see enough of these politicians talking a good game. And you're like, wow, this person's going to change some stuff for them, right? No. They're just going to sell out. They just talk a good game. Everything they said was a lie. We find out later, right?
Yeah.
And now I just assume anything out of a politician's mouth, if they're not talking against their opponents, and they're lying. I have no faith in them. Is that bad, Glenn?
No, I think it's a legitimate assessment. I mean, like the perspectives I'm basically giving are from an operational point of view of the way the system is. Um, it doesn't matter how radical even a caucus of 30 or 40 in the House is. You're just not going to change shit that fast. That's not the way that's not how it happens. I mean, that's why it takes forever to actually change anything that matters for a whole class of people on the ground, because change is bad as far
Yeah.
as government apparatus goes. They just don't like to change, period. They'll take the deviation from the Republicans to the Democrats, but it's the same money, it's the same interests, it's the same goals. It's just, how do you sell it? That's it. So, that's why when I talk about it, I sound kind of clinical, because, you have to be part of this game. It is the only game in town, and there is only one way to change that game. And it involves a hell of a lot more than what happened on January 6th.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows? The U.S. military might have gotten involved. Imagine what the reality would be like today if that was the case. So things could always be worse.
That's the thing. I understand that. But I think they're pretty bad now, and we got to make them better before they get worse. Worse is unacceptable. Yes, smoker, by the way. I sent that message. Anyway, yeah, I don't want them to get worse. I want them to get better. And if we don't fight them now, they're going to get worse and worse because, 10 years ago, and Cass, like me or whoever was saying, let's fight it. Everyone's like, okay, no. Obama's in office. Life is great. Then people are Standing Rock getting brutalized. Cops were murdering people all the time. Nothing really changes. But now it's worse even than then. It doesn't get better. It keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
It's going to take everybody out there indefinitely shutting everything down. And you got these crybabies. Oh, the building. Oh, the windows. Oh, the graffiti. Oh, the burning trash cans. Well, those people never be like, oh, the 12-year-old they shot dead in the park within 3 seconds of pulling up. Won't they say that?
Well, when I see people bitching about vandalism from protesting, I just kind of boil it down to what they're actually upset about. A threat to the status quo. That's what they're upset about. Nothing else. Glass lives don't matter.
Not at all. Neither do blue ones.
But I mean, this is all they're upset about. A challenge to the status quo. That's all it is.
I'm sorry to anybody who knows a Smurf. I didn't mean to say their lives didn't matter. I was talking about police.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah. I don't even think I'd ever heard of Smurf. Because that's, a situation I might actually be in real life, right? Run into a Smurf.
FurryCon?
Are Smurfs furry? I thought they were just like little mini tiny blue humans with big noses and hats.
That's what they would like you to think. I don't know. There must be a Reddit board where we can get some research on this kind of shit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a whole show about Smurfs. Call it Blue Lives Matter. Oh
Yeah,
man.
well, it wouldn't take long before you could go to 4chan and you'd see Smurfs armed to the teeth. So then they'd say, yeah, sure.
With Confederate flags.
Yeah, the Smurfs of Hazard.
Smurfs of Hazard. Wow.
Oh, shit. Somebody could use animation and make a whole shitload of money with that.
Smurfs of Hazard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You kidding? Think about it.
Yeah, I guess you got the characters could just interchange around, right?
I bet you they'd even play it in elementary schools in Texas.
Everyone used to watch Dukes of Hazzard back in the day. Like,
For different reasons.
well, yeah, but I'm saying black cats, Latino cats, white cats, Asian. Everyone I knew watched that crap because that's how things worked back then. You watch one thing on television, and then you could be back at school talking about it the next day. Because everybody had to watch the same thing basically. There was only so many channels. It wasn't like now, right? So I had one buddy whose dad wouldn't let him watch it because it was racist. And everyone would be like, well, what is he talking about? He goes, I don't know, something about their car's racist. I can't watch it. He'll beat my ass if I try to watch it. We're like, wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
But now it
Then
makes
the
so
old-
much sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we were little kids back then. We didn't know. We were just like, yeah, cars flying through the air and Daisy Duke shorts.
Yes, there we go. That's the only reason I watched that show, for Catherine Bach. And I can actually remember getting her autograph at a car show here in about, 1970. Oh, God. 77, I'll say.
That was her name, Catherine Bach?
Yeah.
Hey, do you think her dad's name is Johann Sebastian?
No.
Okay, I was just wondering if they were
It's,
connected in
prob-
any way.
it's probably Dave.
Dave Bach. Oh, wow. Dave's not here.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've worked ourselves into the sponsor spot.
Yeah, we get some way out tangents. Yeah, the last 10 minutes of the show becomes a comedy. It's not funny to anybody but me and you, but I like it.
It's the sponsor segment.
Yeah. Hang on, let me get the sponsor music up. Where is that? I think it's going now.
Yep.
So I'm pulling it down a little bit. Yeah, that last one toasted me, man. The last bong rip. So go ahead, sponsor.
Well, it's airing out very nicely. Once again, the phenomenal Chiquita Banana.
You're still on the Chiquita Banana. That's nice.
Oh yeah, I'll be on it for a while, man. We gotta, you know.
Yeah, well, beside the wax, I've been on. I had this Zsa Zsa Gabor, and you know why I like it? Because I nicknamed it Cop Slapper.
Ooh.
Yeah, Cop Smacker. That's what I called it, Cop Smacker.
Wow.
And if
I
you don't
guess,
know why a strain called Zsa Zsa Gabor would be called Cop Smacker, look her name up.
Yes.
It's probably the greatest thing she's ever done in history.
I believe that was Beverly Hills PD, wasn't it?
I believe it was. Yeah, she slapped a cop.
Real good.
She said, "You bastard."
Well, I guess that's a California strain then, with putting that name on it.
Well, be honest, what they are is they're like these big joints with glass tips, and then they look like a candy cane.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, just because inside of it it's all swirled with wax, and then the strain in it is called Zaza Gabor.
Wow.
I believe
See
that's
now,
what it is.
see now, you guys have got products geared to the demographic. I mean, it's not just like you go to the stores here and you can buy pre-roll. Just, you know, just weed in a joint, rolled. That's it. Nothing special, no shapes, no
Oh,
additions, no nothing.
oh, they don't
You
have all
guys have.
they don't have them like infused with stuff like wax or whatever.
Oh no, no,
Oh
that's
no.
that's not allowed up here.
Oh, that's not good. Concentrates are wonderful. Is
Yeah,
hash
they're all
allowed up there?
Oh yeah, everything's separate though. You can't buy nothing like that pre-assembled with more than one. You know, that would be like going to the liquor store and you can buy a bottle of wine and 4 cans of beer in one package. Impossible. Can't
And
be
bullets.
done. Yeah, can't be done. Can't be done. We're not Louisiana.
Oh man. So yeah, is there anything else we got to go over?
Well, we pretty much got all the hashtags.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just a guest. I'm not a producer.
Here we go.
People's Radio United.
Yeah.
There we go.
I had to play it before we left. So yeah, you want to wrap it?
Sure.
Cool. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you to you people on Twitch. Thank you to you people on Spreaker. Thank you to the people in the chat like Celeb Scolder and Smoker. Not like them, they're the only two. I didn't want to seem like I was misleading people or anything. But yeah, so yeah, another awesome show. And I guess we'll be back next week. Whatever day we figure out, we can do it maybe.
Yeah, we didn't
And
even mention that. We're a day late this week.
oh yeah, you want to talk about that for 20 minutes?
No.
Oh, all right. So yeah, I'm gonna turn off the people on Twitch now because evidently the video stopped playing.
Ooh.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, whatever.